Hey guys, welcome to today's stream. Let's have a look at the chat. Sunbuster's the only person here. Just want to say thanks for structured tutorial. I've successfully implemented the same type of system in my project, albeit with a couple of changes. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less. Of course you'll change it. That's the whole point. I was basically trying to give you the foundations and then basically let your mind go mental on how you do things and how you want to do things. As I said, I prefer to do tutorials of, if I'm going to do a tutorial, I prefer to do it on a fundamental concept rather than a specific thing. You know, because what you see on YouTube and whatever is a very specific thing. Like, let's say, how do you make a guy wall run? Right? Or how do you make them do this, that, and the other? Like, for example, a good example would be if you haven't got the basics down, then trying to learn how to do an inventory system, right? Well, basically you need actually quite a few steps to be able to do something like that. You need to be able to do widgets and understand widgets. You need an interactive item. Then you need your data tables and stuff. So trying to follow all that if you're inexperienced in Unreal Engine is just going to basically put you in hoops, because you're never going to be able to understand all of those concepts at once. So it's better to teach like the foundations for something like that. So if I was to do something like an inventory system, I wouldn't do it as one tutorial that teaches you how to do an inventory system. I would do it in a way like foundational things like interactive items, then, you know, widgets, then something, you know, then how to actually build the inventory system, rather than, as I said, try to do it in one go, which is just going to confuse the hell out of somebody that's new. And this is the problem with tutorials. For example, when I look at tutorials, I don't actually follow them. What I take are the fundamental aspects that I need and then build them myself, right? I mean, I don't look at tutorials of how to do an inventory system. I don't look at tutorials to how to do a hotbar, you know. But if I was, like, say for example, is to do wall running. I don't know how to do wall running, but what I do know is I can take something from a tutorial, which is, for example, you use the normal of the surface that you're running on. So I'll basically take that concept and then start trying to make it myself, where I know that that is the sort of important factor that I'm looking for. So, as I said, try to do things like that rather than copying stuff, you know, node for node, because basically all you'll see on those tutorials at the comments section and in these people's discords is person after person saying, this returns a null, this returns a null. And they basically don't know the basics of debugging, they don't know the basics of how to find out why it's returning a null and what actually should be there. And it's just a joke, really. So what we're going to do today is, we have our map. I have imported some information only stuff this morning. So I built an exporter and an importer. I added excuse me, I added a nav mesh so that our monster will wander about. So we can actually press play and save that and see that happening, where our monster will basically wander around. Right, we're going to get rid of this. This is in the pawn. This was me mucking about with the timer last night. Right, so you can see now that our monster is wandering around. We have our landmark there. And another bug fix we're going to have to do is, this is going to show the info, which works. Okay. Not so much in this version actually. It doesn't run any worse. Not that I've found so far. And in actual fact, going with the world partitions and stuff, it actually runs faster, or the game runs faster in the editor. So it's actually a win-win. Right? So there's a couple of bugs we've got to fix. Our footstep thing is not quite working as we would like at this point, but my colleague is having a look at that, shall we say. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the pawn and we're going to basically remove the footstep thing because it's bloody annoying. And so basically we're going to delete that, and we're going to delete that, right? Then we're basically going to delete that and delete our event tick. Compile that, and now we should be all set to go. So the final answer, Axel, is at the moment no. With this 5.1 version, no. In earlier versions of 5, I would say yes, it ran like an absolute pain in the butt. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate problems with that I know exist that were in our test map, but I want to actually now work in our actual map because it gives a better idea of what is going on, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to pop in a cooking station, right? And I'm going to hit that. Then we're going to pop in a crafting table. And to be quite honest, we should just put it next to our thing. Now, don't get upset about how the crafting table looks. It's just basically a table, and it's one of the only tables I had. So basically, it's just a mesh that can be changed, no problem at all. It's just something to use in the meantime, right? So we'll do that. We'll do that. And the next thing we need is a little piggy. So we'll go to wildlife, and Mr. Piggy, and we shall drop Mr. Piggy in. Okay, now he's not going to go in, well actually he might, but it doesn't really matter. So now we can start fixing some issues that I know exist. Okay? So, let's press play. Okay. So we still have our nice sea and all the rest of it. And for some reason it's still creating those things. Don't know why. Our pig has wandered off, right? But we're not going to allow that. Okay. Because what we want to do is we want to skin it. We get our piggy. Okay, and then we can run over to this. We can click on this. Now I'm going to bring the cooking time down for testing purposes. Right. Now the thing is here, that if we press inventory, we click on that, and as you can see we have our drumstick there. Click use, then go back. You will notice that we are not actually eating it. Okay? So you can see here we're getting a lot of errors here, and it's the set percentage thing. Okay. So we know that this is causing us an issue. And we can see that we've got a problem here. Right. So our problem is when we're eating. Okay. Now don't worry about the arrow, we can deal with that. We'll do something with that recipe as well. And that'll be that sorted out. Okay. So if we come out of there, inventory, that, and use. Okay. So we've hit our breakpoint. it looks like this isn't set right. Okay, because it says none. Okay, so if we try and step into this, I'm pretty sure it's not going to do it. Yeah. Right, so we're going to stop that. Access none, reading property. Right, this is what I was telling you earlier, Sunbuster. Right, you'll get access none trying to read property, and people new to Unreal Engine will get these errors because they've made a little mistake and they'll have absolutely zero idea what is going on. Okay. Hi, Notiplex Arrow. How are you doing? So, basically it's our pawn. The problem is in our pawn that basically our HUD right isn't set up. These aren't set up because this is basically nothing, right? And we can prove that because if we press this, right? Now, when the HUD gets drawn, that's it there, right? We can look at the pawn, okay? And let's minimize this. Or, okay, don't let me minimize that. Let's minimize that. Right, we can actually go hunger. There's the main HUD, and you'll notice our W hunger is nothing, okay? So, why thank you, a Notiplex Arrow. I'll take that as a compliment. It was actually just that I threw it together in 2 minutes, but anyway. Right, so basically what's happening here is when we create the HUD, we are not setting the pawn. Okay, so basically what we need to do is have a look at the widgets. And I believe attributes. And here's your hunger, W hunger. How does the hunger work? It's on a timer related to the clock, which is related to the day-night cycle. So basically, every X amount of hours or whatever, like you can see here, update hunger is bound to that. And I believe what we can just do here is drag in ref char, right, and just say W set W hunger, then get a reference to self. And basically plug that in there. Right. So now if we look at our thing, then type in hunger, you'll notice that our hunger actually now has a reference to it. Okay, so if you notice, the little green thing will go down, right? Right. We can skin this now. You'll notice that our hunger has went down a bit, our thirst and our energy. Right, so we've picked up our pork, porky pig. Then we're going to do that. Okay. I'm going to need to fix that. I know where it is, but we'll fix it anyway. Right, so you'll notice that our health has gone down. Right, I'll let you see once I do this. Right, here we've got our hunger. This is our hunger, this is our thirst, this is our energy, this is the time, which is unhooked at the moment. But anyway, this is the temperature, and this is our core temperature, which isn't, we haven't done anything with that yet, but we will. Yeah, there's northern lights, there's all sorts of stuff going on there, right? So what we'll do now is, if we go into here, we select our pork, and we select use, right? You'll notice now, oopsie doopsie, that this is no longer nothing, right? So we can basically disable that breakpoint, and basically play, then go to here, and our hunger did not go up. Interesting. Okay. Are you going to be like that, are you? We're interested in this part here. So what we'll do is that, add breakpoint. Our next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our recipe thing. We're going to change our recipe down to like 3 seconds. Right, so we've got DT recipes, and cooked pork was 10 seconds, so we're going to change it to 3 seconds. Save that. We're going to go back to our pawn, although it's going to jump to hunger in a second, but oh, by the way, Darko, it works on, at the moment, oopsie. We can, Darko, I was just about to say that, we can do it however we want, right? Like, for example, we could do it related to running. So if you're running, it increases your hunger. And, it increases your hunger, it increases your tiredness. Right? You can do all of that stuff. We've got all that we can do. Right? Now, as you can see, this is actually working. Because when it actually does something, it is actually breaking here. So you'll see it do it in a minute. There, it's done it, right? So I don't actually want it to break there. That doesn't seem to be the issue. Now, I'll explain that to you. That's because these values are going down, right? So it's something when we set the percentage, okay? So it is basically in here, right? Now, I have got another project. We'll work this out anyway, right? What we'll do is we'll work this out and find out what's going on. So anyway, where's my mouse? Where's my mousey boy? Right, so we'll come up here, we'll shoot the pig as normal, right? We're not having any behaviour as such on our monster at the moment. That's okay. We can fix that. So you can see now that goes a lot faster. We have to fix this because this for some reason is not being removed. Right? We can inventory and use. We get a percentage. And this is 0.92. And this is actually incorrect. Right, because at this point, this should actually be one. Right, it should be taken up to full. Unless the pork doesn't have I get it. I get it. It's because pork does not have a data table entry in the food table, I believe. So I don't think it's that one. It's not. It's this one here. you'll notice that it doesn't have interesting. We certainly don't have one for this. Right? So what we actually need here is we need to go to, I believe, our editor helper, right? Yeah, there's no, yeah. I'll show you what I mean by that. Right, interactable selection. Right, we want to run this widget. And this is the one we want, right? So basically we click on that, create interactable, and it's basically put it there, right? Now we can put another one. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Right. Put that in there. Go back to here. So basically, if we press play, you'll notice we'll need to wait for the hunger to go down a bit, but we can eat this directly. Well, we can actually take that. Right, you'll notice that the thing has went down. Our hunger thing bar has gone down. Right, so when it goes down a bit more and we can actually see it, right, so if I hit 8, you'll notice that goes to percentage, resume, you notice our thing is going up. Okay. So, the moral of the story is we need to find out where I've done this and where I get the value from. Right? Use item is this one. and we are basically creating a food here. Right, we're creating a food struct. Right, for that item. Now, I'm not 100% sure that actually is a food item. Okay. So let's have a look at what happens when we actually cook. Right. Right, so it's going to be here. Okay, maybe it's not. Is it craft an item? Recipes. Right, this is where things get a little bit weird. Right, I'm going to say that we need a value in here, but that actually has that value there of 15, right? So I'm kind of wondering right, let's have a look, right? I believe it's probably missing out a data table, right? Excuse me. Right. Okay. If we go to the inventory and we look at it, it definitely does say cooked pork, alright? Now, what we're interested in is this button here, right? So we're really interested in this button here. Right? So click that. step over. Now, here's the thing. Is it going to give us the right thing here? Step over. And this is not as helpful as the other one was. So if we step over, right, so it's in eat that we basically need to update it, right? So we want to step into this. And we have no value, right? Okay, so basically this is nothing. Right? So this current item is basically nothing. Okay, Darko, thank you very much. Right, so for some reason our pig has not been set up. Our pork is not being set up. So as Darko illustrated or surmised earlier, there is no value on the food provided from the pig. Correct. So I am guessing we need to add this. And this is going to be pork chop, I believe. It's going to be interactable 20. Now, we are going to have a look at the main table to have a look at this. Right. And it's cooked pork. Okay. And that does have a value. So it is here. Right? It's definitely there. Right, so this isn't actually, this is cooked pork. Cooked pork. 1 food. I can't eat chips, how you doing? Alright, that's meat stick image. Okay, don't know what I called this. Taste. Right. Now, this S food, let's have a look. Right, we'll save that. And okay, so we've crafted that. Inventory. Use. Right. Step over. Step over. Now, it does know it's food, right? Because it is coming down the food switch. Yes, you're able to eat pig. You can cook the pig as well. Right? So, basically, this is 0. Right, so whatever's going on here, it's not reading, it's not setting that up as a food item. Right? It's basically when we set up the items in our widget in the inventory, it's not actually setting up the food. Okay, so we need in our inventory, right? We're doing our inventory slots. Okay, so these are creating our slots. Right? So it's basically in here. Now the interesting thing is, right, let's have a look here. You see, the thing is, right, that this food right, let's have a look. Can we look at this? We have struct food. Right? Which has got the food value and this value. Right, it's only got two values. Right, now the interesting thing about that is or the not very interesting part about it is this part. This is it here, right? So there is another table that's just got these two things in it. And I'm thinking if we add 15, you see that's got nothing though. Right, let's just try that, right? And let's just see if it actually does something. Otherwise I'm getting a bit confused with myself. Right? So come out of here. Use I mean, even if this actually works, I'm not entirely happy about it, and it didn't work. You can see there that it's not got, it's when it's building it, the current item thing is not being basically filled up. Right? So basically when we are setting this, we need to set it properly. So it isn't getting set correctly here. Okay, so I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe and hit the little bell thing. Check out the description for more links to other things like Discord and my personal Discord, Patreon, previous game on Steam, Kickstarter preview and website, and I shall be back in a moment or two. Don't go anywhere, folks. Alright guys, we're back. So let's have a look at this. Right. So that's giving us, if it's food, this is very interesting and may need some right. So let's do this again. Right. A couple of things annoyed me here, that it doesn't say cook, but we can fix that. Right. And now we can do that. Right. So here we go, update details, right? We've got the struct of the item. Which is currently nothing. Right, here's the item here. Right. So this item struct I'm guessing if I find references, right, this is going to be in another, this is going to be in the individual inventory item, right? Yeah, inventory slot, right? And we're not wanting that, we want this. And we're going to give ourselves some more space here. Right. Now, we've got our struct item, okay? Now, it must be when we're building this struct item that we're not actually doing the correct thing. Right? So when we're building this, right, we are not building this, we're not passing this item in correctly. So wherever this is getting passed in, whenever we are making this struct item, right, isn't correct. Wherever we're setting it. Okay, now this is probably going to be in the inventory main when we actually create this particular widget. Okay. So we are basically going to go back up to here, and then when we create the slots, right, this is the item. Okay. So the inventory slot is slightly different from our, like, picking up from a blueprint, right? So it looks to me right, okay. When we cook that item and we add it to the inventory slot, we're not actually creating the inventory slot properly. Right? So basically, when we add it, what I'm looking for here is adding the thing to the inventory. Okay? So here it's here, okay? And we're not adding the item struct if it's not already there. Alright? Right, so the question here is, if we can craft, we're making, right, okay. That's removing the item, but we need to actually check that, because that's not quite right. So what I'm saying here is, if it's we're going to switch right. Now, basically, if it's food, right, we get data table row, and it's going to come from food items. Right? And it's going to be that. Right? We're going to put that into there. Right? And in effect, this would be in, we basically break that right, so this is the wrong thing. It's actually food types. Right? Okay. Food value. And we want a quantity. Right? So this is going to get a bit messy for a minute. But don't worry about that. Because all we're interested in is this food value. Right? Now we're going to have to split this up in a minute. Hi Stockmaster, how you doing? Hi Disney's. How are you today? I'm fine, by the way. Hope you're well as Stockmaster. Just noticed your chat things there. Right, so if we press play, hopefully, I'm going to add a breakpoint here. Now, this is where we might end up actually changing a lot of stuff, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make this more sensible. Like, we've got our two tables, right? One might be food-based data. Another one might be, the stuff that goes in the normal slot no matter what. Right. So I'm guessing that are going to resume that. Right, because we're not, when we finish cooking this is the important part. Right, now you've seen it's broke again, and this is the part we're not interested in. Right. So if we now go inventory, resume that, all we've got is pork meat. Well, that's very interesting. Right. This is where I slowly confuse myself until I walk away from it. Right. Disable that. Resume. Okay. Right. We've got something to work on here. 19. Right, we should have our cooked pork. Right. And that's from our interactables. Interactable items, right? Now the question is, what item type is that? Well, actually we know it's food. Item type food. Right? So if we step over, right, let's hang on a second here. That's the cooked pork thing. Right? And the interesting thing is, I don't think it finds it. No. Okay, so the problem is, well, one of the problems is it's not finding that item, right? So in food types, the row name is cooked pork. Okay, so I think we need one slight difference here. In that this needs a replace on it. From space to nothing. Right? And that's what goes in here. Okay. As I said, we'll tidy that all up in a minute. And we're going to have to basically do this for each of our items, right? Which will probably end up doing it in a function. So to tidy it up. And we'll take it for there. Right. So we've got our piggy pokey chop, right? I'm going to make that. And here we go. Right? Step over, and this time we actually step over. Right, and we can see the food value is 15. We can resume. Okay. Now, you'll notice that our hunger is down a bit. So we can go to our inventory. Resume that. Then use. Right? we can step over, step over, step over. It's still nothing. It has got a food value of 15. So I'm going to think this actually is going to work. I'm going to step into step over 15, and now if we resume, our health, hunger is way back up. Okay, so that's good. That obviously screwed up because we've got all the breakpoints, but that now functions correctly. Okay, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to split this up. Right? Ah, I didn't notice. Did it remove the porky pig? When we ate it? Right, there's two things we need to check here. Number one, did it remove it when we made it? And did it remove it when we ate it? Right, that's our two concerns at the moment. We'll get that sorted out. Nah, the displacement isn't right yet, but as I said, I'm not working on that. Right, so we're doing that. That all does nice stuff. So we step over, step over, step over, add it to the inventory. Then we're going to be removing stuff. I'm guessing that's 19. For some reason that's 15. No, that might be okay. We want to see if this actually tries to remove an item. Right? And item number is something. Right? So this might now be working. It is. But then it puts it back for some reason. Okay. So let's see it in the eating, what it does. it does remove it. Okay, so that part's okay. We've just got this pork meat that isn't getting removed, basically. Right. And I've got my eyes are watering and stinging. Right. So we're going to stop that. We're going to go back to here, and we're interested in this part here. Right. Oh, aye. Right. So. We want to check whether or not this is removing an index or it's removing a number. Now, I suspect my wife has put on some like incense sticks or something. But anyway, right, so basically what this is doing is it's checking the quantity within the pawn, right, and if the quantity is 1 or becomes 0, then it removes the index entirely. If not, it removes 1 from the quantity or however many has been used, right? So we kind of should be able to monitor this, right? If we click on, if we type in the pawn, right, we should be able to get the inventory. Right, here's the inventory here. So as we pick up stuff and use stuff, this should, you know, go up and down basically. And our pig's decided to bugger off somewhere. Right, so you'll notice we've got nothing. The 0 array elements. Right, and now we've got 1. Okay? Right, now if we cook that, it's still on 1. So if we step over, step over, step over, you'll notice now we've got 2 because we added the crafted item, right? Now, these have got the same number. This is incorrect, right? That is why it's leaving one of them. So, in actual fact, it's completely the wrong way around. Right? Because pork meat is 20, cooked pork is 19. Now, in theory, those should be the wrong way around, the other way around. Well, logically, they should be the other way around, but it doesn't actually matter. Right? Cooked pork requires item 20. So that is actually correct. Right? Now, what we're going to do is delete that. Right? So this cooked pork so this is not giving up pork meat, it's giving up cooked pork, which is incorrect. But it can't be. Right, let's just check. This is the thing, you've got to be kinda just methodical about this. It's easy to jump to conclusions and basically pass over what the actual problem is. Right? So, if I click on here, this is the wrong thing. Right? It's passing in. The name's correct, right? And everything else is correct. But it's not item 19, it's item 20. Right? So and it's actually the BP dead pig. Right? So there was a lot of things going on here. this is the part here. Food item row name. So the question is, when I set this up, right, I must pass this in. Okay. So that is actually right, so see when it does this, so there's been quite a lot of problems with this, but it's better to get them now and get it sorted, right, than come across this later and not have a clue what's going on. Right, so there we go. We've got to here, and this is pig meat. Okay. If we step over this, it's got 19. And that's wrong. Right, let's have a look at $19 is not pig meat, right? $19, you can see there this should be 20 and this should be 19. Okay. And I'm going to test that out in between streams. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I've enjoyed it today. We've got certainly done some progress, okay? We shall take it from there. So check out the description for links to Discords, Patreon, previous game, Kickstarter and website, and I shall be back 8 PM Central, 4 hours time, and hopefully we'll have made a bit of progress with this. So thanks for watching, bye bye for now.